Newry, it's the morning programme, Good Morning Newry and Mourne, and indeed the world, as we come live to you from the traditional heart of Newry to wherever you're viewing in Australia, or Dubai, over in America, east and west coasts, we're there with you and we're glad you're with us. Pensioners Parliament, I have Frank and Maureen Ruddy with me this morning. You're very welcome. How are you?
Not bad, thank you.
This Pensioners Parliament, as I grow older, I begin to realise the importance of it. We need to be careful and look after ourselves as we're growing older. And the Pensioners Parliament is part of that process.
It is indeed, Rowan. It gives people a voice, gives older people a voice to speak to local politicians firstly in their own local parliament, and then at the big parliament in May, it gives us a chance to talk to our MLAs or MPs.
Okay.
And voice our opinions.
And how does it work, guys? How does it work?
Well, it works. There's 7 local parliaments across Northern Ireland, and you sign up and go to your local parliament first, and you speak to your own MLAs, voice your concerns there, and then you'll be selected then to move on to the big parliament, which is in May in the Holiday Inn in Belfast.
Yeah.
And it runs over 2 days.
Yeah.
And we speak to our MPs and our MLAs.
And how did it all begin? Who organised it, and where does it come from?
It's run by Age Sector Platform, a group in Belfast.
Yeah.
And they campaign and lobby on older people's issues.
Yeah. Frank, there's an obvious question coming to mind. Why don't you stand as an MLA and take them on at the ballot box?
Well, at last year's Parliament, found out that there's enough people over 65 to bring down both governments if they all went out and voted.
Yeah.
You know, the age at the minute is round my age, 64, 65. People are seen to be living longer.
Oh, indeed we are. Thank God for it.
Yeah.
And the women are living longer than the men.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing. But I mean, what issues are emerging? Like last year, for example, what were the big things that you focused on?
I think the main issues would be poverty, fear of crime, transforming your care, and I suppose benefits, having no money.
Yeah.
You know.
Transforming your care is an interesting phrase, because that's the phrase that the health minister is using in relation to our well-being, and it's a phrase that NIPSA is pointing at the union and saying, no, you're trying to destroy the health service.
Yeah.
Is there that feeling around that we're not being given a good deal?
Well, I think certainly, yes. Older people who are in our nursing homes and that are afraid of their nursing homes closing down and where they're going to be placed. And that's, people have to realise, especially the minister, that these are these people's homes.
Yeah.
You know, they're there and they've lived the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, some of them longer, in these places, and they regard them as home. And it can lead to morbidity, you know, people having to move out of where they're used to.
And it's not right that people have to live with a constant worry that the next letter in the post could be closing the place. Well, it's not fair to them.
No, it's not fair, definitely isn't. And I mean, John Compton didn't come in to any homes here locally and speak to the residents and get their point of view on it.
Yeah, but it's a bit like the Parliament, because they don't listen. Now, you talk to your MLAs and you talk to your MPs, you talk to the police over security issues, but are they listening, or do you find they're operating to an ordinary agenda that we have this and this to do, and we're listening, okay, that's fine, but we go on about our business? Are you having an effect on the decision makers?
I don't know. Sometimes you can, but most of it's lip service, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people are getting older, well, so they're not going to be here much longer, so.
Yeah, but as Frank says, we're all living longer now.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, yes. And I mean, at a recent conference I was at, we've been told that the first person to live to 150 might already be born.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question of it.
You
Why
know,
not?
scientists can prove now through genes.
They say that 70 is the new 50.
Well, that's
50,
it.
yeah.
Which is great. You know, I'm delighted to be 70 because I feel good and I'm going well.
Right.
And I intend to keep going. And you're flying along as well. That's what it's about. And you're younger. But the thing that strikes me is maybe the time has come to be more proactive politically, that you actually stand for Parliament and do it yourselves without asking MPs to do it for you. Become the MPs.
Well, it could be a way forward.
Of course it could.
I would certainly endorse it. I would be
You'd be
in favour of it.
Why wouldn't we? It'd be great. We get enough people at your Parliament in Newry to go forward and put the fear of them in the May elections. They give them a queer gunk.
Well, that's it. And that's the time to talk to our politicians when they're knocking your door, looking your vote, is to ask them exactly what are you doing about these main issues that pensioners have, and what are you doing to address this? Why would I vote for you?
Yeah.
Tell me, come on. You
Absolutely. In real terms, you talk about poverty. The state pension, it's about 400 or something a month. What is it? It's round about that.
I think it's about £109 per week.
Yeah.
Something in round that.
Are people unable to live on that?
Well, a couple of years ago we had the Eat or Heat campaign.
That's right.
And that's what you have to decide. Will I eat or will I heat my home? And I mean, we get a grant of, well, some people get the grant of over 200, just £200 for your heating allowance. But on average it takes £600 to fill your oil tank.
It would do.
So, I mean, £200 not going to heat your home for too long.
Very long. Indeed. Credit unions, Grace, though, they have a scheme where they have an oil loan, that you can get a loan for the oil, £500 at the beginning of the winter, and then you pay so much and get it back if you can. But then people are out of that. People have to take clothing, they have to take food, they have to take maybe rent, maybe mortgage, they have to pay that. It certainly cuts into it very quickly.
Well, it does, and food bills are going up and heating bills are going up, but money's not going up.
No.
Do you know, in Northern Ireland, we would be behind what they get on the mainland for pensions. You know, it's not a fair playing field.
This week, the professor in Queen's University, he made the point that older people are discriminated against on health grounds. That he mentioned two areas: women with breast cancer, the younger woman gets priority over the older woman. Men with prostate cancer, the older men don't get the same attention as the younger men do. And I know people who have needed major surgery, but the attitude has been they're old, they'll not be around for that much longer. It's disgraceful that kind of thing is happening.
Well, I think it's the same with anybody that's on a hip replacement list or a knee replacement or anything like that. They expect the lifetime of that to be 15 years. So we'll not give it till you're about 70.
Yeah.
And that'll do you the rest of your life.
Goodness gracious.
But I mean, at 70, you're virtually crippled probably before you can get these operations.
You are.
A big thing about hip and knee replacement is, Rowan, if I'm waiting 5-6 years for knee replacement, but if I turn up with, say, £5,000 or £6,000 or £7,000 to go private, I go straight to the top of the list.
Oh yeah.
But when I go top of the list, I'm doing somebody else who's been waiting for years out of a spot.
Of course you are.
Which is not right.
Of course you are. Of course you are. What, Maureen? What issues will you be bringing to the Canal Court meeting of the Pensioners' Parliament on Friday?
Well, I think one of the main issues in Newry at the minute is the closure of the stroke unit.
Yeah.
And it's been moved to Craigavon. Well, that would be one of my main issues that I would see as a big problem here for older people. You know, if you take a stroke, that's a big enough problem without having to be shipped off to Craigavon or Belfast or somewhere else.
And they say about speed is of the essence when dealing with a stroke, isn't that right?
Apparently so. Well, apparently now we'll get a clot busting injection at Daisy Hill and then we'll be shipped off by ambulance to Craigavon Hospital, which is already at bursting point.
It's silly, isn't it? It doesn't make an awful lot of sense. You know, it's appalling, absolutely appalling. And you know, your issues, Frank, what will you be bringing to the Parliament on Friday?
The same issue, a big one that I brought last year about the price of petrol, oil, home heating oil. In actual fact, I think one of the oil regulators was at the Pensioners' Parliament, and I asked the question of why, when the price of home heating oil and petrol and diesel goes up 10p at 6 o'clock, it's on the forecourts at 6:30.
Yeah.
But if it comes down 10p,
it
doesn't go on the forecourts for 3 months. He couldn't answer that question.
No, he couldn't, of course. Couldn't, of course. Who will you be talking to on Friday?
I'm not sure. It'll be some of our own local MLAs. Probably be Mickey Brady's.
I think he's a good lad.
He's Sinn Féin's MLA for older people in this area. So I'd say he will be at it. Somebody there from SDLP, somebody from Unionists.
Mickey was caring about these things long before Sinn Féin or anybody else.
That's
right.
right.
He
Yeah.
was over there in Ballabot House,
Yeah.
hard working for ordinary people who needed him, you know.
Yeah, I remember him in Bridge Street.
You did, surely.
Yeah.
People going in for help, and he was
Yeah.
sorting out their forms and all the rest of it. So well done, Mickey Brady, indeed. Now, thank you very, very much indeed for coming in. We wish you well, and we'll pop an eye and an ear to the door on Friday
Yeah.
to see how you're all getting on.
Yeah,
you'd be quite
you're very
welcome to come
welcome.
along, yeah.
It
Be
should
nice.
be a good day.
Be a good day.
And with Newry becoming an age-friendly city, and this
Are we
autumn
an age-friendly
No, we
city?
are. We're in process of becoming
And
that
who's
at the
making
minute.
us that?
The council. We
Really?
have signed a charter in Dublin, and the work has started on that.
Yeah.
And then with Newry and Mourne Senior Citizens Consortium, it has 60 groups. So we're the voice now for that.
You're the
on
voice
Friday.
of the people. Well done, well done. We'll play you some music now before I let you go. Sean.